welcome to the December 5th, 2024 Select Board meeting in Highgate, Vermont. First order of business, pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just because we have a big crowd here tonight, make sure everybody's signed in. And also, if you're going to speak, you can say your full name for the record so that Wendy can get it on recorded. Alrighty, call order is done. Public comment, and we'll start with Sue. She always gets first dibs.
I have just two questions, very simple. I'm going to be down for a month, and I would like what Wendy did the last time, keep me informed what's going on. I'm going to be going to the hospital, and I would like to keep me informed. Second question has been brought to my attention. It's just a question. If they decided to tear that house down, one of the questions that I got from a couple of residents was to burn it. To have the fire department burn it as a drill. But I'm just asking a question because this was brought to my attention.
I will let the subject matter experts answer.
That's why I brought it up, because somebody brought it up to me.
The only way we can burn it is we'd have to go through the state to get their thing, and then we'd have to strip out everything,
Okay.
basically, and then
I would tell this person, because this was brought to my attention, and just bring it to the board.
insulation, and shingles, or whatever roof they got.
Okay.
Plywood.
Okay. It's just, this question was brought to me, and I said, I don't know what it is.
It's a good question.
It's gonna be more of a pain than it is worth it.
Okay, then that's all I need to know. Thank you.
In the old days, yes. Now, no.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Now they're a little more hard.
Yeah. And good luck on whatever you're having done. Hope to see you back.
Thank you.
All right, public comment still open. Oh, okay. Moving on, capital improvement plan, planning commission. We have here in the front row. What you got?
Okay, so at the last planning commission, I made a motion to bring to the select board that we feel that there's a lack of continuity, communication with the planning commission and other boards too. The town doesn't flow real good. We find information out after the fact. A lot of it has been, I believe, with our town administrators, have been bringing some personal agendas to the planning commission the last couple of years. And just want to bring it to your guys' attention that it'd be nice to communicate with you guys a little more, give us something. You know, we work at your pleasure, right? We're all appointed. And in the last 4 years I've been on the planning commission, we've never met before. You know, we've never gotten an email from you guys to direct us. And it's been, like I said, the last two town administrators seem to have had some agendas, which I feel as a board we should be brought facts, not opinions, and we were brought a ton of opinions on board. So just to make you guys aware of it, and I feel that I'd like to be more involved with you guys. You guys are directing us with a simple email, or stopping at one of our meetings, you know, to direct us. 'Cause it seems like I said, there's a lack of continuity.
What kind of direction are you looking for?
Whatever you guys want us to do. Do you even know what we've done for the last 2 years?
I do.
You know,
I think we all do, yeah.
you know,
I do.
we've come in with some pretty high pressure people on zoning, affordable housing. It'd been nice to know how you guys felt. I was dead set against it, because every time we put a affordable home in the town, it brings each and every one of the home taxes up. Because that affordable home comes with 2.1 children to educate.
Yep.
And if they're considering $250,000 homes affordable, it takes, I did some math like a year ago, it takes 56 years of their property taxes to educate one generation of 2.1 kids. So every time we put this affordable housing in, it's driving their taxes up. like I said, we didn't get steered by you guys at all, what you thought about it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we know exactly what you're saying.
And honestly, I think we beat 6 months up of wasting our time. It'd been nice to know your guys' input, which way you want to see it go too.
We're looking into reorganizing the boards, as we brought up, I think, a meeting or two ago. She's doing the best she can right now as the interim, and when we get the new TA in, they're gonna be an integral part. They're gonna be our voice, and the big thing is no personal agendas.
Right. And I'm not complaining that you guys run it,
Yeah,
our
that's,
town administrator.
it's a recognized issue now.
And I just want to make sure that it was brought to your
Yeah,
attention.
I hear what you said. And we're open. We're here every other, first and third
I
Thursday
read
of
all
the
your
month,
minutes.
so, okay.
I get a little frustrated because there's a lot of executive minutes.
There have been lately due to personnel issues, but you should see less of those. Yeah. Going forward.
I would just like to echo what Scott had said when I read your planning commission minutes, Scott. I really agreed with what you had said there. And I came to this meeting in early November. Only half of you were here, but I said the exact same thing coming from the village core. Got a lot of questions about what that board did. And same thing, the whole time that I had been on that board, I think there has been one meeting, and it was, I think, our September meeting this year, that there was one member of the select board at. Other than that, no direction from the select board. Everything else was directed through the town administrator. So it's hard to have a clear vision for the town and know that we're all working towards that same goal when there's not a whole lot of communication.
I'll speak on, and you guys feel free to speak up. We all got full-time jobs.
Absolutely.
And I think you know where we're coming from. We can't attend every meeting. The role of the TA is to be our voice at your meetings.
Yep.
I'm not sure, we're still getting wind of what's been going on the last year or so. I think we all know what's going on.
But so did things go on for a whole year, like this board let stuff go on for a whole year when you didn't know what was going on? Because that doesn't sound
I
super
can't get into
responsible.
personnel issues, but we've been enlightened and the problem has been resolved. So going forward, the TA will be our voice to your boards, even if we can't make it, which most of the time we can't because we have to spend all our time doing this one.
No, I understand that
So,
you can't be at every
Yeah,
board meeting.
but we do read the minute, at least I read the minutes of almost every board now, because I gotta know what's going on too with everybody, so that's how I get my information.
My suggestion,
Yeah.
Vern, would be
Sure.
maybe a joint meeting once, twice a year, every 6 months.
That's
Great
part
idea.
of,
Great idea.
We, like, this is our
Yeah.
December meeting.
that has been part of our initial
It
talks.
would be great to have a joint meeting, just to, communicate.
Yep.
Besides me calling Richard yelling at him. He
That
likes
is a
that.
form of communication.
That, I believe it's a great idea.
No, I fully understand that you guys are 2 meetings a month already now, I mean, we couldn't ask you to be.
That's really
Yeah.
more than that when you think about all
Right, but we couldn't ask you to become as our meeting, but if we had a joint meeting at your meeting, it would work, I think would work excellent.
That, I think, is a great idea. Can you coordinate coming to all our meetings? Just kidding.
No.
Okay. Yeah,
The village core meetings that have been canceled, I'm hoping that we will be able to have them again, even if it's just to figure out what's going on. But we've been left, we did a lot of work in that as far as trying to get the community involved. And I'm hoping that all of that work is not just thrown away. So I really hope that we can have the village core meetings again, or at least one so that we can pull it all together.
there's nothing saying that you can't, it just, right now, we're in between the transition between TAs. One of the things that we are talking about for the reorganization of the boards is that the boards be more self-sufficient and not rely, the TA should be there to provide the information for the boards to make advisory recommendations, but not to steer the boards, not to manipulate the boards. That's what we're looking for. So there's nothing stopping you from having a whole meeting right now. feel free to invite Carrie. I don't know about Carrie's work schedule, you're gonna have to work around her schedule. She's on a very limited schedule, and she has to be because she's retired. And she can't work too many hours of this job by helping us out kind of thing. But that's an option. There's nothing saying you can't have your meetings. Yep.
And in fact, for logistics, you probably have to reach out to myself and Wendy because we need to know what to put on the agenda. You know,
Yeah, I think,
so-
sorry, I think we have to reach out, I mean, just to
Yeah,
get those updates from the town administrator to bring those to the board. I mean, it would be important, you would be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, even January, if you want to meet in January, start thinking about what you want to talk about so you have something to post on that agenda. And 15 days in advance, when does Wendy need them? It's not a
agenda,
hearing.
just 48 hours.
48 hours.
If you're gonna have a meeting, we should notice it well before that.
Okay, good for that, okay.
Okay, so, the last couple of months, we've been meeting with the Parks and Rec, the Highgate Public Library, Highgate Volunteer Fire Department. A little busy here the last day or so. Public Works, the Highway Department, and in and around the town capital projects. Basically, we've asked each one of them what their main, what they're gonna need in the future for coming to, and how much money we would like to put towards the capital budget. We've had, some of them, we've had some pretty spirited little back and forth talks, trying to update if the estimated cost projections were really accurate anymore, or just inflation and just the cost of trucks have shot up big time in the last few years, so the numbers we were at first is out, this ain't cutting anymore. So basically, for this coming year, we've got, we had 15,000 towards the town office parking lot. Eventually fixing it up some. Parks and Rec, we had 15,000 towards the Zamboni. The arena parking lot, we've got 40,000 for this year towards that. Starting to get a lot of issues there. The arena roof and entryway, we put 25,000 on the budget. The zero turn mower, we put everything towards it this year. We would have to see the highlighted indoor turf field house part. I think that's going to be an article in the upcoming budgets. The humidifier, we've got 10,000 towards that, the eventual replacement. Chiller compressors, 30,000 towards the eventual replacement. Basically, vehicle slash truck for the Parks and Rec department, we've asked for 25,000. So for a total of $145,000 for the Parks and Rec. The Highgate Public Library, we've got 100,000 that was asked for, to go towards the eventual relocation, new building of the library. The fire department, we've got 15,000 going towards the eventual replacement of engine number 1. 30,000 towards the eventual replacement of engine number 2. 75,000 towards the replacement of the tanker. And 10,000 towards the replacement of the utility truck. And the air packs and compressors, which we discussed at length on that, as to what was involved, and basically it's their safety equipment. And we thought that we should sort of fast track that to get the eventual replacement, so we put $60,000 down for this year, so for a total of $190,000. The highway department, we got 20,000 towards the eventual replacement of the grader. 20,000 towards the eventual replacement of the loader. 40,000 towards the replacement of the backhoe. 30,000 towards the replacement of the 2014 Western Star truck. 60,000 towards the single axle truck. And 30,000 towards the eventual, towards the 2020 tandem truck. 5,000 towards the eventual replacement of the road tractor, or road mowing tractors. And 10,000 towards the flail mower to mow the roadsides. For a total of $240,000. In and around the town, we got 50,000 towards the transfer station slope stabilization. Class 3 road. Okay. Yes. 50,000 towards class 3 road improvements. 10,000 towards the village core master plan, for a total of $60,000 there. And a total projected total expenditures of $750,000.
Do we have last year's numbers? Probably have the column.
585,000.
Okay, thank you.
I just had a couple questions on the fire department air packs and compressors and the compressor. How old is that system now? It's quite old, isn't it? Where's the replacement for a
We
site?
only have like 15 years left of these air packs before we can't get any parts.
15 years.
Because then they're gonna stop making the 22.6s, 16s this year.
Are those 4,500 PSI?
What's that?
They 4,500? No.
No.
So it's old school. It's old school.
Before.
Right, that's, okay. And just one question, the flail mower. What is a flail mower? I've never heard of that term.
So, you guys, when you bought the new tractor, you bought
Yes.
this mower?
Yes.
They wrecked it.
Yeah.
It's made to mow hayfields.
It's not made to mow roadsides.
It's not made to road, it's
You
not
can't
made
hit-
to
can't-
bounce off stumps and.
It bounces those toes, it's fine.
So, Nick is supposed to check into it. Either a rotary flail or like a brush.
Okay, that's what's called flail.
Something made to.
Something made to with clutches that
Yeah,
don't smash it, they just
Exactly.
make it.
Take a pound.
The Western Star
yeah,
is a break, so why are we putting,
because it's gonna take that to finish it, truck went up.
oh, you're talking about the new truck.
Yes,
Because the new truck's
the
on
new
the
truck,
side.
because we get ordered in on the following year, and they didn't hold their price well, so.
We also didn't get the $50,000 USDA grant.
Right.
Oh, that's right, okay.
So we needed that to finish, make sure you guys get enough money to really check for it.
Okay.
Scott, is this the flail?
Something to that manner, yes, there are several different styles.
Yep.
And, you know, Nick's supposed to be investigating.
I've never heard that term, I was curious what that was.
They're the ones, if you look at them physically, they have individual arms, and you can ping one that flips back, it gives.
Yeah, they were sickle bar.
Yeah, not a sickle
I used to use a sickle bar.
bar. Definitely not a sickle bar.
I noticed there's not a estimated cost on that one. What do they cost?
Because he hadn't researched it at the time, and, you know, they threw it at us and don't know.
Okay.
He was supposed to get some numbers together on that. And I think, the 5 or the ton truck and plow and stuff, we're supposed to get a couple different numbers on that, you know.
I knew he was working on it.
Because they kind of leaning away from the insert one, and like to go with a miniature, like our life floors in them and stuff. Because he told me they were using the drop-in one, because they drop it in and out so often. That structurally, we can get
Crap
out.
out of it.
Yep. So he was supposed to, I don't know if Nick has come up with anything on that.
No, I knew he told me he was working on that.
Just a question I had that Kyle kind of brought up about the air packs and compressors. You're saying they're good for another 15 years, but you want to get them now?
Well, sooner the better, because they're starting to fail on us.
Oh, okay, gotta bring that part up.
Our current air packs are 20 or more years old.
Okay. Can you still get parts?
For now.
Some,
And who repairs it? You guys or somebody else?
No, we have to have somebody come
Be
take care of
certified.
it.
So, Gary,
Go ahead.
can we get, I think on those packs, can we do, like we do a truck and little bit at a time, you know? So it isn't hitting us all at once?
You were gonna look into a grant for some of that.
So, we wanted to keep that on there, but we're also gonna try to plan for a grant.
Yeah,
But we're gonna do the grant on just the packs, not the compressor.
okay. But, and what I'm saying, if the grant doesn't go through, do we wanna go, you know, so much at a, instead of hitting it all at once? Can we do that?
we're not hitting it all at
No, well,
What are packs go for nowadays?
once. Between 9 and 10
9 and 10 grand per
A
unit.
pack.
a piece.
Whole
And then
hoses.
we will need a new compressor system.
Right, because it's not
Because
gonna,
we're not rated.
it's not gonna have the pressure to fill the new bottles.
So that's what costs $60,000.
Good God.
And I leaned on them pretty hard because they brought it to our attention that some of the taxes were coming out rated. I thought it was more important to worry about them, their safety than it was.
Of course.
Trucks or anything else, you know.
So basically, our thought was if we get the grant, we're gonna have the compressor through here.
Who
And
writes your
then
grants?
then the 80,000 can get wiped out.
Have you considered hiring a grant writer?
Considered it, but
In the town of Franklin, when I was on the fire department, we used to write all the grants and it got denied every time. We had a member that joined whose wife was a grant writer, so she did. Stuff started pouring in. You have to know how to write grants. You have to use certain words, and you might want to look into that because I think it's going to cost you something, but I think it's worth trying it at least once. The reward is, I think, is way more than what it's going to cost you to consider that. Just something I think you should consider.
Yeah, one wrong word on that.
One wrong word, the computer takes out before it gets even further down the road. We
Frankly,
found that out.
Yeah, frankly, this town can't survive without grants. Or our taxes would be through the roof, our local taxes would be, so yeah, great. The return on investment, I think, for, like he's saying, investing in a grant writer, you're definitely gonna see it, gotta get a good one. But, yeah. I didn't recommend that.
Hopefully that'll be one of the attributes the next PA will have to assist the different groups here to access grants.
Gotta be anything, one of the qualifying questions is how much grant writing have you done?
That would be amazing.
Yes,
That would be one wicked tool in the toolbox. Yes.
one asset that the next PA should definitely have.
The tanker truck, I got to personally see that one day. The truck itself, is that still in good shape? It's just the back end of it needs replaced, right? Correct. Well,
The whole thing's getting tired.
engine's getting tired, friends getting tired.
It's a 96,
It was a
right?
rolling truck.
98,
Yeah.
seems 30 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
Been used.
Yeah.
the problem with every fire truck I've ever seen is it's not from use, it's from sitting.
Lack of use, yeah.
They sit and it wears them out quicker than if you use it or anything.
I have a question for the rec department. You have a new item on the truck. Can you explain why you need a truck?
So, we currently have an employee that uses his own truck to bring our mower to the Falls Park currently is one, to bring it all the way down to the shipyard, mow that space. If we ever need anything, it's always reliant on, it has to be on a certain day to be able to share with the dump for the town guys, so if we need something, it has to be on that one day, or us doing it. There's been many occasions where we're working, I need my truck, I can't offer it up all the time. So, to go down and get something, it just doesn't work. And it doesn't need to be a brand new truck, it just needs to be something to send them to go get a load of mulch real quick, so we're not having to deal with that.
The only thing, right, I was thinking about that after we talked. You know, a load of mulch costs $20 to get it delivered from the local. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, a truck is, it's not only the amount that we got in there, it's the insurance, it's the maintenance, it's
Liability.
the liability, the whole nine yards. That's just,
Are you currently at least paying yourselves, your employee, the mileage for using their vehicle?
They should be tracking it and submitting mileage
Right.
reimbursement.
That's-
Doesn't need
They're
to-
instructed to, they're instructed, whether they follow through or not. My thing is, why should the liability be on their truck for our equipment? Bringing, you know, hauling our stuff down to wherever it's gotta go, the mower more specifically.
so I had a question about that too. We hire out all our cemeteries. Why don't we hire out those two places you need to truck it to? Just a thought. Just a thought, you know? We could throw it in our cemetery bed, work it in somewhere somehow.
But most of the time, Scott, Brian, most of the time, when them lawns are mowed over in the falls here, it's on weekends. And I know that ton truck is available. I've checked into it, and as far as that, he can use that town truck, no questions asked.
Correct.
And that's, you know, it's open, he knows the combination, he knows everything, he can go in there and do that.
And that's as long as that truck isn't in the shop for 2 months.
Well, we got in for a new one, where we're saving up for a new one,
I hear you.
you know, everything, you know, and everything goes in the shop.
Well, we can't keep spare graders and tablers and fire trucks either, because they go in the shop too.
Yeah. So,
Because working on the CIP, we are 200 and some odd thousand higher than it's ever been. And I think it's a little bit like snowball hell, in all honesty.
I wonder if.
Because it's the Australian ballot for the first time. So, you know, we need to find a few places to do it.
I had a question about that total and being over. I know that in the past, we've talked about like this slush fund, something like where rollover money goes to. I don't know if that's really what it's called. How much money's in that?
Most of the rollover money has been from other vehicles, which has just been reallocated to the next one. There's been a vote to move that money.
What happens like if a department underspends?
Yep, so that's what you see, like the $30,000 is shaded on the indoor turf field house.
Not that that was there because you guys are gonna pull that out.
It's highlighted because, yes, they want to reallocate that because it wasn't spent. They're not spending that. So anytime that that happens, it's gotta go on the ballot to reallocate it.
No, but if something wasn't allocated though, like if the library budget for
Yeah, so we have
last
a
year was
fund balance.
$150,000
Yes,
and we only spent 100 of it,
Mhm.
where does that extra $50,000
in
go?
your fund balance,
So it stays with that department?
yes.
How does the department know what they have in that balance?
Most come and see me.
So there was a struggle working on the CIP for that reason, you know, it's up and it's like, what do you got? And had the ability to get it passed at the same time. Because it's gonna be like our first Australian ballot, and there's gonna be no discussion about it, once it's on the ballot.
Yeah, and Scott, it votes, everything's down.
Exactly, if they don't like the, you know, if there's one item that sticks out, and not to pick on the rec department, but that sticks out. They're gonna say, why the hell do they need a pickup? Because, you know, they're uninformed. So, to try to get this whole thing through, that was one of the places that I felt was a trip.
So, not being on the rec board anymore, but knowing what their needs are. If we had one of the two other town trucks that were in good enough shape to pass on to the rec department, it would be a great fit. But
I agree.
both are not in good shape, you know, they're looking to replace them for those reasons too.
Right, and like I said, it's a tough pill to swallow, you gotta
Yeah.
put 1,000 miles a year on it or something. You know, just the liability insurance on it makes it unfeasible.
How big of a truck? Are you talking like a half ton,
Pickup.
4-wheel drive,
Yeah.
single cab? And you're saying it doesn't have to be new, you'd be happy with used, in good shape?
Just one truck.
Just one truck,
Yes.
I personally completely understand why you're asking for that.
For some independence.
I completely get it.
You know, for 8 years, I've been on the board, we've been dependent on either us or
You shouldn't have
availability.
to, you shouldn't have to lean on a member of the board or an employee to use their personal equipment for, so I get it. And I also understand what you're saying too. But, you know, this is the problem, because you got the few doing the work in the minimum.
I hear you.
And that's just the way it always is.
Like I said, I was thinking, as far as the long one, maybe we could look, doesn't have to happen this year, but we can look into bid it out, get them 2 parks, bid it out, and we'll eliminate that.
It might be financially smarter,
Mhm.
but I can still see why they want a truck to run around hardware store or anything.
So I know on my.
I get what you're saying, but I'm not disagreeing with you,
Yeah.
but can't both ways, I know.
Not very many businesses put $25,000-$30,000 pickup with 1,000 miles a year.
Well,
There's
you're
my
talking,
business stuff.
right, but you're talking, they've taken care of that, truck's gonna last for many, many years.
Till it rots out, because it ran in the salt and got fired, you know what I'm saying?
You can buy one of them aluminum Fords, you gotta worry about it.
I look at it, I look at the town like a business, like I run my business.
Yeah.
I would not buy a piece of equipment to use it for 1,000 miles a year. I hire it done or whatever it's up.
It's also, it would also wouldn't be just used for our buildings and grounds guy, it'd be for our rec director to go run and grab t-shirts, balls, you know, running to other places, you know, other things that she needs to run around doing.
I'd love to see what the expense was on fuel.
On there.
Such a track it.
Yeah.
Well, they're supposed to track it, that doesn't mean they are tracking it.
Yeah.
Because that would've been an easy thing to say, all right, we spent $5,000 pancake this year
Right.
to do that.
Like we said, we encourage them to do it, and they know the process, it's just.
Well, it's just that months.
Everybody over in this corner is guilty. It just, oh, my miles for the rent term?
Yeah, not worth it. I mean, it is.
So a $30,000 truck will work for you probably?
If it runs, I mean, it's
It runs in good shape, decent shape. Yeah.
When's the Casala contract gonna be negotiated? Is it this year,
Soon,
coming year?
yes.
I was just told soon.
Yes, this year, this coming year for sure, isn't it?
There has been some initial talks.
She's way behind the times.
I said, feel free to reach out to
Yep.
people and talk about that contract.
Which people?
Where,
Anybody that wants to say it,
yeah,
Oh,
I'll sit and talk.
public meeting.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be good.
Some people
If you got a history with it, yes,
who know the history of it,
that would be good.
That's what you gotta have.
and just to think about, right now, that place is costing us money to separate. That 60,000 is not even covering your road maintenance. How much did it cost us to pay that? And we're gonna do it again, I'm told? Think about that.
Yeah.
And,
Anymore.
and the slides that are happening there, I've heard a lot of finger pointing at Casella because it's causing, or
Attributed.
it's influencing the slides by their driveway maintenance and their drain maintenance. You know, we spent millions there. So we just gotta think
Okay.
about that when we're negotiating. And the money that was originally negotiated bought a new town truck. Right, Richard?
Yes.
That's 300,000 today, not 60. So we gotta think about all that when we're negotiating it, and just to make you guys aware of it.
Yeah, that's good.
And the added traffic in the town and the town roads and how many garbage cars come down the Gore Road in Franklin because they're all heading, you know, you gotta go maintain it. So that should be all influencing the new contract.
I will tap you on that if you've got the history, because I don't have much history with it, other than sitting on this board for a couple of years, not much, especially negotiating the contract that they're looking at. So, yeah. Another meeting.
At one time, that fund was left separate for equipment purchases. And then one of the treasurers incorporated it all into the town, which helped pay taxes. But look what your equipment is now, 33 years old, 23 years old, 20 years
It used to fund all our equipment.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
The 60,000
Yes.
a year.
It's the highway.
The highway department, it used to fund their equipment
Yes.
purchases.
We didn't borrow money at all for years. And we kept our equipment
You know,
6,
this year,
7, 8 years, was able to turn it over.
and we're, what are we? We're 240,000 a year now. So it hasn't kept, the contract has not kept up with inflation. That's why they want you to stay in there so that.
It would have to be negotiated with an inflation clause.
Yeah.
Well, that's some interesting news. Anything else for the CIP right now?
Like some public input?
Yep, but we gotta kind of keep the, so yep, make it short, because we got a lot of stuff on the agenda tonight.
Yeah, so looking at this number, Vern, I don't think I could vote yes on it unless it dropped down by probably 125,000. I can cut probably 85,000 out tonight and make every department that's here a little bit upset at me, but it'd be very easy.
You said you could cut 85?
Yeah,
That's exactly what I was looking at too. But I know it ticked some people off a little.
I think that when we're just talking about the Casella situation and needing to keep up with inflation, I also think that when you're thinking about that, it's hard to ask every department to level fund when you're keeping that in mind as well, so. And maybe the ask isn't level fund.
It's not even close because we took, around town, Shelley, how much did we take out?
From last year?
Yeah.
Last year's around town was 110,000
We're down, you know,
to 60.
to 60, so we already cut a good share out of there. So it put you up over 800,000 if we had to cut from there.
Exactly.
One more question about the CIP. Probably aimed towards Shelley. Shelley, I see $2.6 million that we have. Is that interest bearing places?
It is, it gets added at the end of the year.
Is it in CDs?
No, it is in the general fund.
There are some 6-month CDs through M&T that were paying 5% last year.
And the auditors have suggested with all of the projects we have, I mean, I'm cutting $1 million checks right now, so I hate to tie up our money.
I'm
until
not saying
these
tie it
big
all up,
projects
but
are
maybe,
done.
you know, if we could tie up,
But yes, It
because
is,
5% on $1 million is $50,000 that we could be making on it. If it's just sitting there making 1% or 0.5%, I think it's very,
100% agree.
very, very foolish to be sitting there.
We need to get into the groove of getting reimbursements as we're getting the
Food for
checks
thought.
out.
We're losing some income on
All right, one last time around the room for CIP. Thank you, guys.
When do you approve the CIP?
At our budget meeting,
Yeah,
we'll
next-
go over everything, take everything into account.
When is that a December meeting?
It is,
The next one. Alrighty.
appreciate all the work you guys have done.
It's a tough job. One that I don't want to do. And I'm glad you guys are here to do it. Yeah. But if anybody in the room, when you're looking at this and you do have recommendations and you don't want to take off anybody in the room, we have emails, send us an email, give us your ideas.
Yeah.
All right, next on the agenda, we got fire department, the 2026 stipend. What you guys thinking for stipends?
So all I wanna do really is just raise everybody's pay just up about $100. We got guys that are killing themselves to be here. They're showing up whenever I need them. If we ask them something, they're right on it. That we've been hearing around quite a few calls this
Can
year
you
too.
tell us what your current is?
I was gonna bring that.
Yeah, I got it though,
You got it?
top of my head.
Up
Cause I
here.
know mine,
It's 2,000 for the chief,
Okay.
1,500 for the
assistant.
assistant chief, 12 or 1250 for the captain,
1250.
1,000 for the 2 lieutenants, 750 if you're an interior firefighter,
500.
and 500 for a regular firefighter. And what I'd like to do, before you say any more, I'd like to up it, maybe $200. If that's okay.
I'm fine with
I'd
that.
like to make a motion
I-
that we up it.
Well, I didn't wanna go overly crazy either.
I got a question for you, Gary. Well, I think it's important for you, everyone to know that there's criteria that have to be met to get this stipend.
Yes.
Just if you show up, you don't get the stipend. You have to meet X amount of meetings, you have to do X amount of fires,
For
fundraisers.
1 to 5 years is different from 5
Right.
to whenever.
So there are criteria.
There are criteria.
No.
My question to you is, with the number of volunteers you have right now, how many are getting the stipend?
13 get them this year,
13 get the stipend
out of 16.
out of 16. I'll second that motion.
So we're talking $2,600. 13 times 2.
2,600 for the, for
Hey,
those
click
guys.
more.
Plus you got 2,600 for the, you got 20, you
I
got,
mean $2,600 increase.
Yes.
Correct.
It's just not for the officers.
not the officers, not counting the officers,
Is
it's
that what the
2,600.
motion is, or is it for everybody?
I would like to see every position.
Every position.
It's nearly impossible to find volunteers anymore. The fact that they have 13 out of 16 members who qualify for a stipend tells me they're doing one hell of a job, and we want to do everything in our power to keep them there. And if a couple $100 extra a year is going to do it, I'm all about it.
So we did the math right, if the officers and the line firefighters get it, it's $4,000 total. For a $200 increase across the board for everybody, officers and
Officers and firefighters.
line firefighters. yeah.
Should allow for growth in there as well, though.
Let that roll for a couple, 3 years and see how it goes. And
Yeah, I mean, it's been, I don't know how long that we even been started it, but it has not changed.
it hasn't changed, and I know at one point, out of 16 members, you might have had 10, if that, more like 8 that qualified.
Right.
Less than that, right? Well, so that tells me the officers are doing a good job. And being that I was personally on the fire department between two towns for 35 years and saw the webs and flows of volunteers, can't pay these guys enough. It's a fraction of what we would have to pay if we didn't have a fire department. A fraction. And
Is it competitive
I
with
think you know how I feel.
Everybody's different. Like Swanton, they get paid by hourly by so many calls, and then they get paid quarterly. So our stipends, as long as you meet the criteria, you'll get a check every single month.
That's what it said for growth, yeah.
And some departments, I still don't think they get anything.
There's some departments that get absolutely nothing. They get a Christmas party, or they get the meal. There's some departments that get a straight up, just $100 or something. There's some departments that you train for nothing, but you get paid per hour. That's what Swan does, I believe. It varies from.
I remember when the original discussion came up, they were very adamant that they didn't want it. So it shows you the caliber that you got on the, so I think the town thanking them, even though they'd still be there without it, as well deserved.
I know I'm not in for it, I just like doing what I'm doing.
Figure out how much you make an hour, my friend. I say no more. You're obviously there because you love the town, love your crew. All of you are.
Okay, we'll make a motion again. Any more discussion?
I made the motions already.
All those who say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do.
Yep, that was it. I need to know that so I can move out my budget.
All right, next up, we got 9 Door Road, formerly known as Pause for Thought Buildings. There's been some interest in considering this property as potential for the replacement of the current library for more square footage.
Can you go into a little bit more detail about that, because I'm kind of new to the library.
So we had a select board meeting a couple weeks ago. Yeah, a couple Saturdays ago. Warned it, there was, how did I find out?
I told you.
You told me, that's right, you told me that Cindy, the current owner, or I say Cheryl, the current owner, was approached about if her building was for sale. There was, let's put it politely, some miscommunication from the town, that the town was not ever interested in that. That was not the wishes of the select board. We want to consider it. So I called Cheryl up and asked her if we could get a tour of it, just to see how feasible it would be as a building. Just general walkthrough. None of us are contractors here or anything like that, so kind of shape it was in, make sure it wasn't a crack house, which we know it's not. But to see if it was a feasible option to the proposed library from the 2017 study, I think, that was out there. So we did walk through, a bunch of folks in here showed up for that, heads of boards. We walked through, we had a discussion at the end for probably about a half hour. What we thought, and we're not the librarians, but we thought it was a feasible building, a possibly doable building. And then I believe library trustees, you guys just had a meeting there last Friday.
We went on Friday.
On Friday, yep. I would have been there, but I had family in town, so I couldn't go. But I think you guys saw it, and I read your minutes. You put out what you thought about the place. So the issue with considering that building is, since we've had the walkthroughs, it's gotten obviously the town to start talking about it. The hard pill to swallow right now for the town is the cost of the 2017 study. Here I printed it out, read it. Hadn't read it before. It's upwards in 2017 of like $1 million, and that's in 2017 dollars.
There's been more recent work. I mean, we've been working on this since 2017.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we have been working on this, and we do know that the current price is significantly.
Okay, that was my point. In today's dollars,
Yeah.
I talked to 2 contractors, they said add 35% to whatever you got, $2017. That's gonna be a huge lift for the town, so we're trying to figure out another option, unless there's a lot of grants that can cover this, which right now I'm not aware of any. This all comes out of taxpayers' wallets, which would be a significant expense. If we did a brand new building from scratch, assuming we even have the room over there.
So wasn't there a room issue?
There's a room issue now with Cathedral Square, that footprint overlaps this footprint now. So it'd have to be a different building entirely if you did start from scratch.
No, we know that.
Building has to be another place.
Well, right, a different footprint, or, I mean, yes, we are aware of the overlap from a village core meeting. We had walked over there, and was that the meeting you were at, Richard? When we walked over
Yeah,
there, so that was September. We walked over there and measured that out and saw that. I had hoped to be able to follow up with GBA at the October meeting, but all of our meetings have been canceled. To see, I mean, they are engineers, so I think that the first step would be to have a conversation with them about what they had drawn up and shown, to see if that is accurate, or if when they go back and look at that, they can say, oh, we did make a mistake here. And then I think that the next step would be to walk over there and actually measure that out with those engineers and see what actually is accurate before we make decisions on assumptions. So that's just with that footprint and does it fit on there. We have discussed a little bit other options if it doesn't, you know, if what we've seen over there that it doesn't fit in the way that it originally showed. We had discussed pause for thought as an option. I had looked back through old minutes, I think last year, and had said then that it maybe is something that could work temporarily if we got an offer that we couldn't refuse on the current library from presumably the gas station next door, but that looking for what we've heard the needs of the town are currently and looking into the future, and we're not building this library just for the needs of today, we're looking 50 and maybe 100 years down the road of what we need, and we didn't think that that pause for thought space would be the best use of our funds.
Don't want to get too much into it, but what exactly, if we know this plan doesn't work, what is the overall picture of what you guys are envisioning for a library and the needs of the community for the library to satisfy?
So I think some of the key things were parking. The parking that we have now is not sufficient. And so we want to be able to have more parking for people that are coming. One thing that is really unique and important to the library that we currently have is the outdoor space that we have. We've got a tiny little spot over there, but we've got a great outdoor space that we do a pretty good job utilizing, and we would like to be able to see that be a part of whatever the future library is. And then one thing that we have heard over and over again since we did those first charrettes in 2017 is the need for a community room. This room is not available for widespread community use. We vote over at the arena, which works, but it kind of disrupts the flow that's over there. And the community has said over and over again that they want a space to be able to meet and a room that can accommodate a good group of people. We were looking at a room that could accommodate 50 to 75 people. It was several years ago, I think you went on that field trip when we went and looked at the library in Fairfield. We thought that that would fit a lot of the needs that we had, similar communities. We're not looking for, like a big, brand new, huge, fancy, shiny library. We want something that's right for this town. I think we found a lot in that library that we really like. One of the things that we heard from the director there was they have a loft space in that library, and that is beautiful. But ultimately, it's pretty unusable because of regulations for ADA. So that has made us look very closely at anything with a second floor. So that would be, you know, if we look at that positive thought building, there are apartments upstairs. I guess personal opinion of mine, I think that the town should be a landlord. So I think that having tenants up there wouldn't really be an option anyways. But I also don't know that we would be able to utilize that space in a good way either.
Yeah, when we did our walkthrough, it was pretty unanimous that the amount of space that was offered in that location, even with the upstairs, to be able to use that upstairs, we'd have to do the elevator thing, and these stairs are outside. Just to be able to use the amount of space that's there to make it accessible was really important, but it seemed like it didn't seem possible.
Cost prohibitive?
No.
It would be possible, but it would be expensive.
I wasn't saying it's cost prohibitive.
Longton has an elevator for the second floor. St. Albans has an elevator for the second floor. It's not cost prohibitive.
Right. It's not cost
No, that's not what I
prohibitive.
was
You have 3 times more room over there than you have right now. The upstairs with an elevator, yes, I agree with you, we should be landlord. No problem.
No problem.
But you have the addition to one side that's almost 1,000 square feet. There's your community room. You go through some innovative contractors, you clean the center out. That was a store at one time. It was all open. The equipment that is there for the veterinary service is going to be taken out. That's a given. The people that own it are taking that out. So after that, you're looking at reconstructing the inside. We went over there, and even Scott and some of the other members went into the cellar works. The structure is very sound. There's no pump. The beams are in good shape. It's got, right now, I don't know the exact amperage of the electrical boxes. There's 3 outlets. There's 3 because you got your 2 apartments and your lower. The electricity's been redone. It's excellent condition in the last 10 years.
The electric has not been redone upstairs. That's all old.
That can be redone.
No, it
The
can't.
downstairs has been redone.
Well,
They're
if
running
I-
x-ray machine and operating equipment. You can't run it on 110 and a 14 wire.
If I could attempt to finish my thought, sorry. What we felt was that the amount of work that it would take to get access to all the space, to make the whole building accessible, would not result in as much space as we were hoping for. So it would not, would it be worth putting all that money and effort and time and energy into the new building to put it there if we're only gonna increase our square footage, marginally?
Do you know how much square footage you have right now?
Like 800 something?
800 functional square feet.
So this, we pulled up I had Carrie pull up, and it's the property card for there. It says 3,738 square feet right now for this one. So that'd be, almost 5 times as much. And of course, it's all partitioned off right now, but like Richard was saying, a lot of those walls are, I don't know what we call fake walls from what it used to be the grocery store.
That's both levels.
Yep.
That's not just the main level. We're only talking about the functional square footage of the main level, which is only half of what you're saying. So it's not 3,200.
Why can't you use the upstairs with an elevator?
Well, you could, but I mean, to what you're saying, and I would agree, Swanton and St. Albans does have an elevator, but I've spoken to all the directors, and they've all said that when St. Albans elevator went down in April, it took 2.5 months to get someone to come in and service that. So for 2.5 months, it was completely inaccessible to anyone with mobility issues to get to that second floor. All the clubs had to shut down. Anyone with strollers, they had to bring their toddlers up the stairs. I mean, we, as able-bodied people, we might not think that's a big deal, but if we're trying to service the community, like to Rebecca's point, 15, 20, 30 years down the road, how are we gonna be able to service all of our seniors that might not be able to
But I
deal
think
with stairs if an elevator is out, which it does happen.
yes, and you're looking at worst case scenario. Why throw all the negativity out there?
No, I'm not.
I think it was
It's
also
just a hypothetical.
the space of the elevator. Christine, you had mentioned to me that it would be quite a significant amount of space.
Now if you go to the back of the building.
Or you put it on the side. You just attach it to the side.
So you're looking at
So why
town
can't,
ownership for the whole square.
why wasn't the next smart, prudent thing to do was find an engineer that we can get in there and actually let the engineer see what's structural, what's not, and what we can and can't do, and then have a truer picture if this building would be enough or not.
It fits the corner.
I know it's spending money, but I'd rather spend $10,000 than $350,000 to find out it's really not what we could use in the first place.
In response to that, or like a question that I had in that same vein is, I had heard, I don't know if I had heard a rumor, if I had read it in minutes and it's actually real, that this had come up because there are ARPA funds that need to be allocated by the end of this year. Is that true?
There is, but we
Well,
have,
there's ARPA funds to spend,
but there's lots of places we need to
Lots of
find.
places.
So, because a concern that we had had was that we would essentially have 3 or 4 weeks to try and figure all of this
No.
out.
We can use ARPA funds.
We need all kinds of places for that money to go.
I agree.
This is not a big rush on that.
Okay.
And for me personally, what I looked at was a building that was 4 or 5 times the size of what you have now. That's the first thing I saw. I saw a building that was much more structurally sound than I thought it would be. I remember as a kid going in there to the store with my mom, and I do know what Richard said is true. It used to be quite open in there. And then I look at what we're talking about with the CAP with, we really would love to have a beautiful library with, you know, it doesn't have to be all the pretty bells and whistles, but to fit really what you want, and it's gonna cost millions. And can we justify a taxpayer spending that if we can do something that's gonna cost maybe $1 million rather than $3 million?
Another thing that came up when we did this walkthrough on Friday, another personal opinion of mine, is I think that the town owns enough property. There's another house right on the other side of that lot that I have not ever been in favor of renovating. But if the question is, do we purchase another property and renovate it, or renovate something that we already own, which the village core had done some studies on what that would cost, I think that we should look into renovating something that we already own.
So you're saying renovating the Mishi property?
The Nation property?
Yeah.
I can't believe it's even be a fraction of the money to buy pause for thoughts of what it's gonna cost to renovate that building.
I think that between, I mean, without being an engineer, contractor, any of that, between the purchase price of pause for thought and engineering, renovating that building, I think that it is going to be a similar cost.
I don't think it's gonna be
From
really
the
close.
numbers.
I would
that
love
we-
to get an engineer to prove me wrong, but I just think it's gonna be more than double to do Macy property. And I'm not a contractor by no means, but.
The last
We've had 3 times the building
Sorry.
The last estimate was 1.5 million.
1.4 was in 2017.
No,
No, not for the Macy property, for the original library, was it 1.4?
Yeah, it's
So
something.
yeah, it was
2017.
over one, yeah.
And I don't know what the original was on Macy
On the
property.
Macy property in 2017, that we had to redo it.
Yeah.
Because the foundation, asbestos and all that
Was,
was 1.2 million.
it was.
When we looked
So
into
it's
it,
more now.
when we looked into it in the last couple of years on Village Court, it was like 700,000 or 800,000, which we did know that there were some things that were missing from that quote when we looked at it. But
That's
we
not-
thought that it would be near $1 million.
Another good advantage you
The
have.
report that they had from the village core was 1.2, and that was old, that was 20, whatever, 78.
Mr. Gilbert?
Do you have an asking price on the pause for thought building?
He has a general idea what she's asking.
Is that public knowledge or?
No, it's a very reasonable price from what we've seen.
Yeah.
And she expressed that she would love to see it be a library in the town's hands.
And another thing,
I would,
Go ahead.
no, I would voice Kyle's opinion to hire an engineer to give you some kind of idea what it cost you. And I'm just gonna throw it out there, I bet you're gonna be $1.5 million between buying that, if you're paying a couple $100,000 for it or whatever, and renovating that. I mean, an elevator's gonna cost you $200,000-300,000.
There's other options in
They're not
elevators,
cheap.
there's the Lumas,
Yeah.
and there's also the stair
There
climber
is,
things,
right.
yeah.
But also by owning that corner of the property, let's say you get an owner in there that is not amiable to the town. You've got a very amiable owner there.
The town cannot be in the business of buying up every property because the wrong person might purchase
The
it. That
town is looking at it to renovate it into a library.
is, they are doing that because they don't want it in the wrong hands. That's the wrong reason.
No, that's not the reason.
That is not
That's not true at all.
Not true.
No.
I don't know
We're
where you got
looking
the
at it
information,
cost
that's not
savings
true.
to the taxpayer.
Not true.
Okay,
Look you right in the eye, lady, that's
I
not,
would-
okay.
that wasn't even mentioned once, to my knowledge, it was
It
never.
was just mentioned right behind me right now.
That's what?
I think it's only coming from Mr. Noel, I don't think she was saying you guys
No.
said it.
Okay.
I said that's another point, to have a friendly owner on that corner, you're fine. You get somebody that's not, you may be looking at a lawsuit within 10 years, guarantee it.
So regardless of where this conversation goes or results into, we're right back at the beginning of this meeting when Scott was saying there's a whole big lack of transparency here. The board has discussed, the library board has discussed this at multiple meetings. You've read our minutes. We have no communication from the select board about the interest or the agenda.
Just surface.
No.
But there was nobody reached out to the, I understand that this meeting, the select board meeting was warned. Nobody reached out to anybody from the library that I'm aware of.
I
About this.
talked to Richard about it.
Richard has nothing to do with the library.
He was
He's
one.
village
I'm also
board.
the chair of the
He's
board.
village board.
Right, on the
So it
village
can be,
board.
it was under discussion. It wasn't under, you gotta buy this, you gotta
Yeah,
do
it
this, you gotta do that.
Sounds like it.
I brought
Extra
it up to them
communication
because
here would have helped a lot.
Assuming we communicate better. I'm not sure how we can do much better unless we attend each other's meetings all the time, which we just physically can't do.
So
This
we
board
have email
cannot
addresses
do.
also.
What's that?
We have email addresses also.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Fair enough.
and you were all emailed that there was a meeting.
No, we weren't.
No.
No, none of us were.
Wendy?
Publicly, I don't send out personal invites.
Right, she only wanted it.
They obviously all saw it, that's why we're here.
What?
So
Karen.
I'm gonna offer a little bit of advice because I've done about 5 commercial projects with municipalities and I'm coming from the outside and you can take advice, the board knows that or not, but the one thing I've heard from this room is everyone seems in support of improving the library. Because it's also a really key community asset. It's a community asset though, it's not just a library, it's not only a library, I hate that word, not just. It is a community asset, and community assets usually start with successful projects that start with a steering committee, and not just library. It's not, I've never worked in a community where the department trying to get a new building is the only one doing the work, researching or picking or not picking buildings. It's just not done because it's not usually successful. So if you want a new library or a new community building, it would be best to probably have a committee appointed. And
That's what the village board has been doing.
but the village core's mission isn't to build a new library, is it? So
That's been a.
I'm just gonna finish my thought though, so then we can continue that one, but, so I think maybe if you reinvent or redefine the village core, maybe that is their new task, but the village core, we're talking about a committee that's probably only 5 people, that has a select board member on it, that has community members on it, that has a couple library trustees on it, and then you start exploring ideas, big macro picture. Once you have a number of options, then you spend money on an engineer and a cost estimator to give you prices. And so it's a little confusing to me that the library by itself would have,
It's been a joint effort though.
with
Like,
whom?
The village board.
It was all part of getting that space.
The village core has been investigating whether or not the community and library should build and where.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Okay.
looking at those design plans.
All right, well, again, so from the outside, I guess there seems to be a little confusion even with other people that I've talked to that work here, and maybe it's only myself and one or two select board members, maybe all of them understand that, but there seems to be some clarity that needs to happen before we hire an engineer, before the town hires an engineer, I should say, and spends money on investigating options, that's all. So if that's what you guys are doing, it didn't seem clear. I read a few reports and it seemed more vague than that, so. And I heard from trustees.
It goes back to exactly what Scott said, Rebecca said, we need better communication.
Yep.
That's where it starts.
It's true.
And we have to do a better job.
We have to figure out how to do it.
Exactly.
And don't pick out a section, a portion of what somebody gives an opinion. That's the only thing a person said, and that's what you just did with me. I started purchasing that property just to purchase it.
Can we agree that property is on the table to be looked at with an engineering study? It might not be the ideal, the 2017 library, but I think it might be, my personal opinion, I think it might be a better space than we are now.
Right
Once
now-
it's rehabbed.
Right now, it's not our first or second choice.
So should we give the voters an opinion?
Yes, that's our point.
Let the voters tell us if they want to spend 3 million or 2 point whatever, or come up with a cost estimate and let them steer us. That's what we're here for, right?
Exactly.
It's not what I want or what you want, it's what the community wants. You know?
We do have time to put it on the March agenda as to what. The problem is right now, and I don't know, did you talk to Cheryl when you walked through?
Yeah, she walked through.
So I'm not sure what her timeline is to sell. She's already had one private owner approach her, and I guess that deal didn't go through. So time is of the essence. If the town is interested, if the vote goes in favor of buying that building, I'm not sure if Cheryl, she probably could wait that long, but much after that, I don't know. And then that goes to Richard's point, somebody else buys it, what do we got? It could be compartmented into 6, 7 apartments, and then we could have another Mill Hill situation. I'm just saying that's not the main reason to buy this property. The main reason to buy this property is feasibility for the bigger library at a cheaper cost, less of a tax burden on Highgate.
Is there, I have walked through the Meiji house with village board. Is there an opportunity for the rest of the trustees or, a warned public meeting, anybody else who's interested to look at that Meiji house as an option as well?
We could, I've already looked at it. I would not consider that even a safe building to walk through on some spots.
In some spots, definitely not.
Some spots it's very soft and wobbly. And I think when Sharon, they had a buyer from California that was looking at that, an investor, I think, 2-3 years ago. And I think what you were saying about the rehab on that was gonna be over $1 million to get that. Yeah, that place is in kind of bad shape according to whoever looked at it before. You've been in it, so it's definitely not like the pause for thought building.
I may be completely wrong, but I don't believe there's a viable water source for that house that would be able to be a public building.
Nation?
Yes.
Well, if we're looking at, that whole property is gonna need water and wastewater anyways.
But I believe there is one that would work for, well, it already is. It's
There is
literally
an active
currently
Yeah.
for ponds.
Yeah.
building.
One other thing, I think it
Sure.
was in our minutes from the pause for thought, but Cheryl had told us when we were there that, I guess I was unclear whether the state owns or the state has right of way through the majority of, the parking lot at pause for thought. She said that she doesn't own that, like where Gore used to come up and
It's the town.
meet 78.
So it's gonna be town
It's
property.
Hampton's property.
Because it's off the course, it's gonna be
Yep.
town property.
Okay, she had said state, so,
State is off 78.
right. She said that they had changed that curve, so that was something else that we had a question about, she wasn't clear about exactly where it was, but it was something that she had brought up to us.
Same question would be brought up at the Zorcy's. The town owns right to his fork.
Right.
78 owns right up to his building.
So we got a favorable, I think, from, I'm assuming you're speaking on behalf of the rest of the village court, or library.
To look into
This is
that further.
To look into that further, if we get an engineer to go in there.
As long as it's not the only option, we would also like to look into the Macy House as well. To be able to compare everything.
I think that's been done.
It has been, but it sounds like there's a little bit of discrepancy between the numbers that we're talking
Well, he
about.
seems quite certain he remembers the numbers.
I
But
wasn't
we're
on
gonna-
the board
We're
then.
gonna have the same issue with the elevator, so, in the Macy property as well, so you know if that was,
That was just part of the.
1.2
Village
million.
Board did the proposal.
how long ago was that,
because
sir?
That was earlier this year. Like last spring, I think when the village board, we were going to vote on it. And one of the things they talked about was the Macy property. And the cost, when I saw it, just was like, that's right. It was $1.2 million just to rehab it.
Because I personally agree with Rebecca, I don't think the town should be in the business of owning property. We definitely wouldn't want to see any apartments upstairs.
Right.
If we could do that Macy property, a library, for roughly the same money as you could do the Positive Thoughts, you know, we'll take your chances of who buys a corner property, but.
Just food for thought, I put a pencil to the cost for thought building at what I figured the asking price was, and that's not gonna stay in the market long. 2 apartments on the bottom, that thing's a money maker.
Yeah.
It's not on the market, is it? Like not
Not public, it's
officially?
reported out.
The people that own it would like the town to buy it.
Right.
First,
The one thing Cindy did say about the, Cheryl, about the apartments upstairs, one of them is being vacated soon permanently,
He's already
and,
out.
oh, he's already out, okay. And the other one knows he would have to leave if somebody bought the building, so the town wouldn't have to worry about it if we purchased that property. So next question, since we do kind of agree that feasibility studies should be done with engineering, I guess the question is how do we go about doing that? Only because time is of the essence to get an engineer to look at it.
is there a possibility of any grant to tackle that?
I don't think so. So you don't, I guess we'll talk offline on who's gonna drive this bus, right? Who's gonna be the committee?
talked about online.
Well, I mean, I think some of the
Well-
information I need is, you guys already know, so that's what I'm talking about. And before you do any more investment, I would like to understand which buildings are being discussed. You guys might have to have if the village core committee is gonna be leading this, then I think they have to have a meeting and talk about it. Like, how many options are you gonna look at, and what budget do you have for that work?
My personal thought, not the board's thought, is I'd like to see the planning commission involved. They've done the work and they have the knowledge to move forward with projects and advice on this. I'd like to see them totally involved.
I agree with Carrie completely, there should be a driving committee on this, with members from each board that's involved, and let that board work on it and do all the, you know, and then come back and report to everybody what's going on, because you got too many cooks in the kitchen, and stuff's gonna get.
Or whatever it is, I just want
Right.
it defined, and we've talked
Right.
about a number of different options, so I just want to
So-
be clear about who's
So,
directing that.
if you're doing all this engineering and stuff, this ain't gonna be on the ballot in March.
No, and I was just saying, I'm saying before you buy a building, you're gonna have to engineer it, you're gonna have to find some money somewhere to pay for that. If you wanna, if this property looks like it's something that would work, no, you would have to get funds you would have to tap some ARPA or something to do it. And I'm not saying that this is the way we should go, I'm just throwing stuff against the wall, see if anything sticks, it just.
So what is Cheryl giving us for timeline to make a decision?
She hasn't really, we didn't ask her. This is the first real public meeting where we've all got together and discussed, so.
I guess that's the first question.
We could ask Cheryl if she can hold out. But
Right, and
or
I think that's one thing we probably ought to
first,
do.
right of refusal.
We don't wanna rush into anything, I agree.
Right,
100%.
and then we can
Don't wanna
move
make a
forward
mistake
whether we're
on
gonna
this, we
hire
wanna do it right
engineering,
once.
you know, ask her what her timeline is, if she's willing to sit on it for 6 months. You know, because she might say, I need to let it go in 2 months, and we're just
I don't want
spinning our
to
wheels for nothing.
I don't want to keep the heat out winter for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Unfortunately, this could have been, this discussion could have happened 5 to 6 months ago. But there was a miscommunication and it didn't get through to the select board.
and one other question, I'm staring here at the CIP, we're looking for funds to, if it moves to that point, looking for funds for engineering. Right, there's a good chunk of change in the library fund right now.
Well,
That is exploring the library. I mean, I'm seeing the Highgate Library, 275,000 there. To me, if we're exploring that, that money was put there for that reason.
How much is
So we
it?
shouldn't really be, if it moves forward, we should be able to tap that money.
275 in the library fund right now.
Just food for thought.
I agree. Did you,
not
I'm
like-
sorry. We've been ignoring you the whole time.
A little bit.
I'm sorry. Go for it.
I'm used to it.
I know you put your hand a while back and said, wait, I forgot about you. My bad.
It doesn't make
What do you
sense
got?
to pay more for funds.
That's a good point, Scott. What do you got?
I wanted to know what you just said. So, we're good.
Cool, all right.
We got it, I got you.
What's the value of the current library?
The value, that I don't know. I think
It's written in the CIP is 200,000,
200,
but I
yeah.
think that,
It was based on an offer from the neighboring gas station.
I think that we have hoped
Yeah, I thought she had,
that it might be worth
she had done
more than that because of the neighbor and the value that that would have to them
And that
specifically.
probably should be something.
That if we were looking to sell it to somebody to set up a hair salon, probably not so much.
Somebody should approach that way.
They've approached us already.
Ask for a hard
Your
number.
songs are way, way, way.
Ask for, get a hard number, they give us more figures to work with.
There you go.
You know, if
So-
we get 300,000 for it, it might cover a good share of the renovation.
We should have a replacement value in our insurance policy.
Okay.
Well, I think that I would assume that the replacement value for that would be a
Very
lot
little, they
different
want the
than-
real estate, they want
Yeah.
the ground that it's sitting on.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll level that, they'll live in the first,
Oh, the building,
Yeah.
first day they own it.
Maybe.
And the gas station.
yeah, the building's gone.
Yeah.
They bought it, the building's gone.
So do we want to make a motion to create a library board
Our steering
or
committee.
library steering committee
I like to make that motion.
with at least a library trustee, a select board member? Who else do we want to see on the board?
Somebody from the village board.
3.
I just have a question
4.
about how this is different than the village board.
Because
You can have
I
everybody
different
involved.
voices, Not
You
just
can
the
have the
library.
select board member, you can have the village core, you can have the library.
You're gonna have the communication
Zoning,
between the boards.
if you want zoning, I don't know if zoning needs to be.
We had a representation from the library, but we also had people from the community. Just, it wasn't just the library, I just wanted to clarify.
So that would be, if we just did the 5-member board, select board, library trustee, planning commission, village core, and 1 member of the public. One at large, as I say, yeah.
I like that.
That, five members, by the way, we talked about this, I think I brought up the last meeting, is the ideal number for any type of committee like this. So I kind of want to stick with 5 on that, but I think everybody agreeable with that makeup.
Absolutely.
Do we have any select board volunteers?
Since March, I'm all done, I'm probably not gonna do that.
I don't actually, there's constructing things. We've had a disconnect for
Yeah.
TA and the
Okay. All right. You volunteer? Rich, you volunteer to be a select board member for the library steering committee. Awesome. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those who say aye?
Aye.
Awesome.
What's the name of this?
The library steering committee, LSC. Because we love acronyms.
That's not enough letters.
Work for the government too.
Sorry.
I do, and I see all of them.
All
Just 3-4 times.
right. We're,
Finish the
What will be the,
Dennis, all those, yeah, we did say all
Yes,
those.
we voted.
what's the objective of that committee and like how does that committee like work with or report to the other, like, so does the committee make a recommendation to the
Steering.
library trustees or to
It's a steering
the,
committee, yeah.
Each member goes back to their
To their respective boards.
reports and reports back to them.
and then, like, as a whole, does that committee end up though, like, making a recommendation to the select board, like,
Yep.
of a,
Then it's percentage of the town.
so then that committee would be making that recommendation, not the library trustees?
The board, the steering committee would make that decision, correct?
I think that's, yeah, because you're a library, no matter what building you're in. Plain and simple.
Right, but I'm just wondering though, like, it just doesn't seem like there's not a steering committee that was formed for like the renovations to the rec department, like it's just, with people from every committee and not the rec board? And, I mean, there would be representation, but it
No.
just seems like you're moving.
But again, we're trying to improve the communication.
And we're not talking about the same thing, you're talking about a renovation project, we're talking about possibly purchasing a building or
Right.
not. There's a lot more pieces to the puzzle of the library than there was at the rec committee, in my
I
opinion.
think that this might need to be something that is looked into a little bit further, just with like how the public library system is worked into the town government. I think that the communication piece is great, but I'm just not sure, and I don't know if you know, Christine, just how like legally.
It's a
That
steering
works.
committee, it's not a committee that makes the final decision, it's a
Okay,
steering committee.
well, I thought
So-
from what you just said that it was.
No,
Okay.
it's a steering committee,
I got a question,
recommendations.
which may help clarify that.
Yep.
Are village trustees appointed?
No, village.
Library trustees?
The library trustees?
Elected.
They're elected?
Yeah.
Okay. Just a question.
That's a good question.
That was a question because, like the planning commission, we're appointed, we serve for the select board.
Right.
They push work onto us.
Yeah, and that's what, I knew
That's-
that the library trustees were a little bit different, but I guess I am even not sure, like, on those specifics.
Well, what happens is you go back to the library, Richard comes back to select board, whoever does the village court, everybody has their thing, you get back together and say, somebody's not gonna be happy because there's only one possible solution is gonna be it.
I guess I'm just wondering who makes that final.
The select, ultimately
The
the
voters,
taxpayers.
the
Right.
voters make the.
Right. You come to the select board brings it to the voters that make the ultimate decision.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, thank you for stepping up. The select board part.
Because we can have a special election anytime.
Exactly, that's what I
It
felt.
doesn't need to happen in March.
Yes, we would
It
have
doesn't
that.
in June.
You're right.
No. We warn it 30 days and it's on a ballot and Monday and I are at the polls for all day.
Sorry. You brought it up. No,
Yeah,
that's-
no, that's what we're saying. It can happen anytime.
Well, it's obvious that we can't make the vote based on something that's got to
Get
discuss, so
more
that's
into
what
it that way too.
No, it's
Yeah.
gonna be, this would have to be spring.
Right, so
That's
what-
At the earliest,
That's
that's
Cheryl
if
willing
she's
to wait.
willing to wait. If she's not willing to wait, then it's all moved.
so that'll be a question we hopefully can answer tomorrow. We'll reach out to Cheryl and see what she thinks. The one thing I would ask is whoever's gonna be like the chair of that committee, so you pick a chair and just write a mission objective, what the goal of the board is, which we've kind of discussed here tonight, just a quick one-liner, something to put on the website. What your mission is.
Shouldn't this, I mean, you guys just created it, shouldn't you make the mission?
We're delegating.
No, usually the first meeting, the group gets together and talks about it.
You guys, yeah, you can
With some
figure out.
guidance.
Yeah. Yeah, with some guidance. So it'll work, like I said, the communication both ways with all of the boards on that one committee. The communication shouldn't be an issue, as long as you pick the right person to communicate. We gotta get moving on, but we could have another meeting about this. I think the 19th, there was a budget meeting, right?
It is.
Correct. Yes.
It's not open.
Do not
So-
schedule anything else, please.
Okay.
Oh,
So we got time to talk about, to get this steering committee together, and come January 3rd or 4th, I think, is the next meeting.
Yep.
Second, we can talk about this again and hopefully maybe have that steering committee already in place.
Well, we're gonna need each board to nominate
Yeah,
their
somebody.
appointed member, right?
That's where the emails come in handy. You can email the
Yep.
chair, to tell them we get that done next month.
Good. All right. All right, well, thank you. That's a good discussion, and I'm glad we came to at least an agreement to move forward with that. Not that we're gonna pick it up and leave it, just to see if it's feasible.
You want, letters of interest from the public for that?
Yeah.
open seat?
Yeah,
Chair vote.
Probably me.
yeah.
I'll
we could-
coordinate that.
Okay.
You guys want to rock, paper, scissors for me?
How we work.
Will that be, does that have to be warned for public, for that at-large position?
Yeah, whatever Carrie comes up with, we'll post it publicly. Yep.
Alrighty, moving on to the next thing on the select board agenda, St. Albans dispatch contracts for fire department and NVR.
Emergency, yeah.
Yeah,
EMT.
let's go down the rest.
Yep. You want
So-
to take a quick minute, two-minute break for anyone that wants to clear the room?
Yeah, yeah, we can do that. Everybody needs a potty break, whatever,
Wanna
yeah, we
go?
can do that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Good call.
Trustees, hold on one second. Wait.
So in your packets, the dispatch, the contracts that we're talking about have a red bonds on the top. And it's a two-sided piece. The other contracts have been introduced by the. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's more called whether.
Yes.
Chelsea's on here. Okay, and there's the thing.
And it was yeah, they go by.
I thought that.
I thought that.
No, I know.
I saw.
It's
Not being local. But it's gonna cost an arm and a leg. Level the flag.
And I know you're still doing your, is there either way to switch minutes or something, their minutes?
They're talking about the last part. You're thinking that
I'm sorry, Mark.
we're talking about that Bill's for.
He was one of the bidders or something, he just wanted to work. You just have. Sorry, was that the whole reason he came?
Oh, I grabbed my coat.
Well, everything I saw.
Can we get longer cords so we don't have this? This is really big. I understand they want mics on everything, but this is sketchy. So maybe just we could arrive like 5 minutes earlier to see how we work it out. Oh, I see. Because I mean, I'm trying to get an extension cord for this just because I was like, I don't want to break any of these connections either. I'm kind of scared about it. If somebody slips on it.
That was a big thing.
No, totally get it. It's good. Okay, no, that's
I'm just thinking about this, we're gonna develop that
your mics are still on. This is.
I personally don't know why they
This is for the fire.
I'll come see you.
Okay, there's not much discussion about 10%. Yeah, I called them.
You're welcome. You gotta go home, but you stay in.
Where's your hat?
We haven't really done it.
This grandpa used to be the butcher.
I want to go home.
You still got a lot of money left.
Eventually.
Carrie wants to go home, so we gotta keep
I
going.
mean, eventually we all want to go home.
Agreed.
Okay, one moment,
All right.
I'm gonna unmute.
All right, welcome back. Next on the agenda was the St. Albans dispatch contract for the fire department dispatch and the Missisquoi Valley Rescue. This is going to cover the term from July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 26 for both of them. And the fire department dispatch fee is going to be $13,230. And the MVR fees are going to be $26,280.
Correct. It's in your packet with the red revised thing on top. There was some other versions previously that have been revised.
It came down then, right?
It did come down about 13 grand.
What was the NDR amount, 26 what?
26,280.
26. 2.
And from what I understand, these are non-negotiable. We don't have much choice in these if we want the service, which we need the service, so.
What happens if our contract with MVR is not renewed? We still need dispatch, but then it's
Correct.
no longer through MVR, we just switch. We're paying them directly?
No, we usually pay, I mean, actually, I don't know who you usually pay.
We're paying St. Albans City Dispatch directly.
That would solve that
Yes.
problem then. Thank you.
All right, any discussion on this?
Why is it 13,000
They asked-
higher than the fire department?
She can answer the question.
I just asked that question.
No, I
Because the
didn't.
potential for more calls for the ambulance and more time on the phones.
Okay.
It has always been considerably higher than the fire department.
Yeah, but was it, how much higher was it when it was,
Middle.
Middlebury.
Oh, well, that's not even apples to apples. They were doing a per call, this is a per capita almost. It's not even apples to apples comparison.
Okay.
And they got you over barrels. Either pay or you don't have service, and we have to have service, that's all we're doing. I'll make the motion that we,
I'll second it.
All those to say aye?
Aye.
And do you want to sign it, or do you want to authorize me to sign it?
I'll sign here.
Perfect. Do you have a clean one in the signature folder then?
You want it with revised or not revised?
Nope, there's one here.
No, no. Thank you.
Yeah, with those amounts, Richard, we're basically back to where we were before they switched us to Middlebury.
Okay.
Okay, that's all I had under that.
Okay.
Do you want to move to let Shelley say her piece of, as, or no, I guess.
Yeah, that's it for select board items. So we're on to Shelley, Town Treasurer, for check warrants and anything else she's got.
Yeah, if you've got it in front of you, Vern.
I do, and I lost it. Was reading it earlier. Here we go. Everybody get a chance to read the check warrant?
Yeah.
Any questions?
Make a motion to accept check warrant?
Second it.
All those who say aye?
Aye.
Thank you.
While you're signing that, a couple quick updates. One, the delinquent tax balance. It's a little different than what I had emailed you yesterday. A couple more payments come through. We're down to $158,985.01. I've already gotten some interest on, like, when are you getting your tax sale together? So I basically have been telling people, after budgeting season, after the town report stuff is off my desk, then I will start that process again. Right now, I'd like to just focus on getting the budget and the town report done. Second update, I did call the auditors because I haven't seen anything since they've been here in August, and I was starting to worry I wasn't going to get my pages for the town report. They informed me because we have a single audit that is required this year, we will not see our full audit until that single audit is done. But he will provide me the pages I need for the town report ahead of time. So we will not see our full town audit until that single audit is done. And he feels after the holidays, we should be getting our phone call from Sullivan and Powers to schedule that.
Is that normal?
Well, there's only been one other single audit in the 10 years I've been here, and it was because of a FEMA home buyout and the amount of the single audit used to be a $500,000 limit, and they increased it to $750,000. So at that point, I had gone over, and it was off season. And I think it was the first year that we even had an external audit firm. So it was very separate from the town audit.
Until ARPA, most towns didn't have to worry about the single audit, we just never got that much federal funding.
And while I'm thinking of it, and these are all rhetorical questions, I don't want answers, but I don't want them to go away from my mind either. Kyle mentioned to the fire department about hiring a grant administrator. Currently, we are in an interim TA position. That TA was also / grant administrator. So I think we need to revise either what those roles are. Is it grant administrator for the town or grant administrator for a specific department? Like, what is the grant administrator that is in this position responsible for? And that if you are allowing departments to hire their own grant administrators, who would be managing those grants and those funds? Once they are awarded that grant, who is then responsible? Where is that workload falling? So just some things to keep in mind as we move forward. And that is all for me. My next to do is budget. I'm gonna hopefully pound that out. I'm only missing the fire department at this point. So I am hoping to get that to you no later than next week, so you have ample time to review it before our meeting on the 17th, I believe, 19th?
19th.
That Thursday, yeah.
Are those budget, public information before they go to the select board?
It can be.
Email me.
It's just a
Email
first
me.
draft.
Email me when you email.
Will do.
Thank you.
Anything else, Sean?
Nope.
Okay. Wendy, town clerk.
Okay. You have 2 sets of minutes, November 21st, and your site visit November 23rd.
Make a motion to accept 11:21 minutes.
Second.
All those who say aye?
Aye.
Okay, those are in front of you, Vern, for
Yeah,
signature.
I think I lost that in front of me.
I also make the motion to accept 11:23 minutes.
Second it.
All those say aye?
Aye.
Just, actually, you weren't at that one.
I was at the.
Oh, you were at the
23
two.
was.
Yep, you're good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
He
no.
was at 23.
Sorry.
He was at it.
Trying to get everybody honest.
He's legit.
Full
Okay.
president was there.
I was waiting for the till of the hundred to come at me again.
Just some upcoming holiday events. We have Santa Day at Highgate Volunteer Fire Department this Saturday, December 7th from 10 to 1. We have a holiday celebration at Highgate Library Community Center on this Sunday, December 8th from 1 to 4. Skate with Santa at the arena December 15th, 2:30 to 4:15. And a holiday light parade, also December 15th, leaves the school at 5:30. I haven't seen a route. Is it the same as last year? Okay.
Which is what? Can we put it in the minutes?
I think it was posted on the rep.
Did they post it
Yes,
today?
they did.
Okay.
Leaves Gore, turns right on the 78, left on the 207, left on the Luke Street, right on the Brusso, left on the Maury, left on the Macy, left on the 78, left on the Lamp King, right on
Decatur.
Decatur, and back across the door to the arena or school.
And the sheriff's department has made special arrangements and is not charging us anything to adjust their schedule so they can be here with
Nice.
a UTV and a cruiser.
So there's gonna be 2 that.
Nice.
That's what they said today.
Yes. And Border Patrol has been reached out to, CBP has been reached out to, and even though they're not our provider, St. Albans City has been reached out to also.
We're still looking for more people that want to do that. Just reach out to the rec director.
Yep. Okay.
Collins.
It won't be SB Collins at that point. It's gonna be Stewart at that point.
Okay.
They are decorated and ready to go in the tractor parade, so I did ask them
Yeah, the
today.
tractor
Yeah,
parade
no,
is 2 days
I go by the
before.
truck every day.
I did ask them to participate.
All right. We get to start all over licensing dogs starting January 2nd. The state has implemented a $2 increase on the state side. So for every dog we license, currently $5 goes to the state. They are upping that to $7. So they're doing nothing, and they have to send them more money. So, the fees, we have to pass that along to pet owners. So I did put the flyer in the packet with the increase, so there is a $2 increase across the board. That is not coming from the town of Highgate. We are not upping our side. We feel we make plenty of revenue to cover our expenses. So if you are okay with the fees, it would be $15 or $19 on or before April 1st, and then $24 or $28 after April 1st if you're late.
Make a motion to accept those fees.
All those say aye?
Aye.
Thank you.
I will be sending a flyer out. I haven't confirmed with Jess, but the date that I read in your minutes for the rabies clinic was March 29th. Do you know if that still stands?
As far as I know.
Okay, thank you. I did speak with Cheryl Wilkins. She is still willing to do our rabies clinic for us. She is not planning to increase her vaccination fees over what was charged last year, so all that information will be on the flyer that we send out in December. I also need you to approve your select board meeting schedule for 2025. And that is very similar to this year, first and third Thursdays of the month with the exception of July. You only have one meeting because of the holiday, and your second meeting in December being strictly budgeting.
Anybody got any issues with it?
So I thought we had talked about last year is skipping the first meeting in March because of election. But we don't have to have a meeting anymore, never mind.
So you do have to have an informational meeting 10 days before the election, and usually it's the night before or a couple nights before.
Yeah, that's separate. The info session is usually well, the motion you guys made at town meeting from the floor last year said in the
Saturday
5 days
before.
preceding town meeting. So you'll be having, it doesn't mean you can't have an info session at a regular select board meeting, but in addition to, you said that it would be, so we're doing one either Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, leading up to town meeting.
So the 19th of December is a public meeting?
The budgeting meeting?
Wasn't
It's
wasn't
public.
there some-
Yes, it's public,
It's public,
but
but
we're
it's
only
strictly
budgeting.
budget.
Right, that's it.
Yeah.
Because that's where people wanted to have say, because it seems we went to Australian ballot, people wanted to have say about the budget, and that's the time they need to,
That's what we stressed,
Yeah.
but the motion that got made was, because when you have an info session 5 days before town meeting, you're not changing anything.
no, it was, they wanted a meeting where they could have input on what goes and doesn't go in the budget, and that's the 19th.
Yes.
Yeah, but they didn't understand that, and they set that for the 5 days before.
Yes.
You're both right.
It was one of those things where we were all cross-eyed and exhausted and,
I just think it's very important for the public to know that they want to put on their budget the 19th of December is the day.
And you can also come in January. I mean, I'm coming from towns who've had Australian ballot. You know, when you have to do the warning, you go over the ballot, you go over the budget, you go over your warning. They
you'll
can
be
come to
signing
us.
your warning, your second meeting in January.
So Kyle, for that, for them to have the info for the 19th, you gotta get that info out. Like, I just asked Shelley to email it to me. How do you get that out?
All you can do is put it on the
Quite
website and just,
honestly, they could have participated in the meetings
that have already happened.
They
Yeah,
could have
that's
been
true.
here.
That's how, Scott.
They could have been here all along.
this is
Yeah.
the whole thing where
The
they
11th
want
hour,
something, they want to come at the last minute.
or they want to change it the day up from the floor.
Right, right.
So just have to.
But I just put it on the website and just, please put the word out, that's all.
Okay. So aside from that, do you like your schedule?
You want to make a motion?
That's great.
Okay, no issues.
I have no issues.
Can I get a motion?
Second.
Oh, Richard's got it, look at his school schedule.
Okay, thank you. Town meeting deadlines.
Oh, wait,
We didn't make a motion.
I thought
we
we
didn't
did.
really make a motion yet. Richard's.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
I'll make the motion.
Oh,
Kyle and Richard.
Kyle and Richard, all those who say aye? Aye.
all right.
And your time is still 6:30. I know we've messed with that way more than we should have. 6:30, okay.
It's gonna stay, yeah, okay.
Okay. Town meeting deadlines, warrant article petitions, with 126 signatures, that's 5% of our checklist, are due to me by January 16th at 4 p.m. To run for positions on the ballot, you only need 1%, 25 signatures, due January 27th at 5 p.m. And the list of positions that are going to be open this year are 1 cemetery commissioner for a 5-year term, 1 library trustee for a 5-year term. I am including the moderator again for the ensuing year, if we wanted to utilize him at info sessions or any other thing. Select board members, there's lots of you. We have 2 2-year terms, so that would be Mary's current seat, and Richard's current seat. A 1 year remaining on a 3-year term, which is Ben's current seat, and a 3-year term, which is Kyle. And then Shelley, our town
Which
treasurer.
he will not be running for.
That's right. Shelley is also up this year for a 3-year term, so there is, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 positions on the ballot. Right. I need you to enter the liquor control board for a 3rd-class license for Highgate Man.
All right, can I get a motion to come out of regular at 8:30 and go to liquor control board?
I'll make that motion.
All those who say aye? Aye.
That was just a motion, second.
Second, I did.
Okay.
We'll go slow. Can I get a motion to go into the liquor control board meeting at 8:30?
So moved.
Second.
All those say aye?
Aye.
Right.
Okay, so we have a application for a 3rd-class club license for the Highgate Manor. They are going to have their own liquor license, their own trained staff to run the bar. Currently, you have to contract with an outside bartender. So they have applied with the state and paid the fee. It goes to go through you, and then I send it back to the state.
Can I get a motion to sign the 3rd-class liquor license for the Highgate Town?
Make that motion.
Second. All those say aye?
Aye.
Okay,
Can I get a motion to come out of the liquor control board?
So moved.
Second.
All those say aye?
Aye.
8:32.
mhm.
Can I get a motion to go back into regular session?
Oh my God.
I'll second.
You betcha.
I'll second.
Formalities.
You guys, I'm gonna be looking at these notes tomorrow like
You still with this
I
one?
didn't say.
Come on, Wendy, stay with us.
I'm almost done.
All those who say aye?
I
There you
make a motion, say 1 second.
Okay, I have one thing. We have the Franklin County Home Health, who has historically gotten an appropriation from the town of $7,423. They petitioned originally and then you grandfathered them in, so they didn't have to petition year after year. Franklin County Home Health is now, and I gotta find my words because I'm very unorganized. It is, oh gosh, it's so long, right here. So Franklin County Home Health Care Agency was forced to cease operations due to the impact of Medicare reimbursement cuts in the spring of 2024. VNA and Hospice, one of their sister agencies, has been designated by the Green Mountain Care Board as a home health care provider for Franklin County. So they are now looking for those funds. My question is, are we making them petition, or are we gonna make a motion to continue the grandfather? Because they've started the petition work. And I said, well, let me just see if that's gonna be required. So it's the same, they're doing the same work that Franklin County Home Health was doing. It is a different, it's a sister agency. Do you want them to petition and get the 126 signatures, or are you?
That is my preference.
To
Might
have
as
them,
well.
to have them do the petition? Okay,
At least the first year with the new name and the new everything.
okay, yep.
Let's make sure we're kicking the right tires here, that's all.
Now, I have a question on that. If they petition and it goes, does it go to you guys to approve or
It's
not?
a
It's
warrant
not.
It's a
article.
warrant,
Yeah.
The town- The reason we just said you don't have to petition is because every year they just got it.
right.
Every year there was no question, people, they raise it.
They had to stop petition during COVID,
Right.
and that's what triggered the, are we going to still give them their funds? Because the amount that they asked for is over the policy. They still have plenty of time. They're waiting on what you wanted them to do. So you want them to continue with the signatures and present them.
I make a motion for them to continue with signatures.
Second.
All those who say aye?
Aye.
Okay. And the only thing I had else was those ice rental and locker room signatures, but are those later on the agenda?
Yes,
Okay, so.
but they could be now, they're under other business, but that's.
Because we have ice contracts and locker room contracts from MVU Girls, Boys, and Maha. So you can do them now, or you can do them later on in the meeting. Makes no difference to me.
Yeah, we can do them now. Do I have the originals right here? Or are these the,
The originals were in the signature folder, the blue one.
yeah, I think they fell out when I screwed them up.
Okay, but those, I mean, they're not different from the ones in your packet, it really doesn't
Okay.
matter.
No, I'll just read it.
Just one of each signed.
All right, so the next rental contract for 2024 to 2025 is going to be at the rate of $175 per hour.
For who?
And this, right there, Sequoia Valley Union.
So this is for the girls and the boys, is it all one contract?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Didn't highlight that part. Doesn't specify girls and boys, just says MBU.
For ice, it's the same.
Oh, okay. All
Because
right.
we bill MBU, we don't bill MBU boys hockey.
There we go, here's boys varsity. So this one's for boys varsity for the same period, November 1st, 2024 through March 30th, 2025.
That's for the locker
That's for locker
room.
Yeah, this is for the locker room. How much is this one? $460.
$460 a month,
$460 a
4
month.
months.
How long is it?
Total of $1,840. This is for girls. It looks like it is, no, the girls are different.
Yep, they are.
So MVU girls for the high school locker room contract, same term, November 1, 24 through March 30, 25. Rate of $100 a month for 4 months, $400 total. For Maha, a rate of $175 an hour for the ice.
Yes.
Sound about right? That's what I got in front of me.
Yep, so you should have a total of 4 contracts there.
Yep, I do. You okay with me signing these ones, or?
Please, because you put your name on them all, so it'll make it much cleaner. You can make one motion not for all 4.
And can I get a motion for all the ice and locker room contracts?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All those for that?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it for me.
Okay. I'm about half hour behind schedule, but we had a good conversation tonight. Interim town administrator, Ms. Carrie Johnson.
I only have one update, doesn't require a motion. So I have 1030 Monument Road on the agenda because the state requested we have an inspection done, and our archaeologist, town hired archaeologist, did a site visit the day before Thanksgiving, which was last Wednesday. Once that report gets formulated, Al Hansinger from VHP is going to send it to Scott Dillon, who works at the State Historic Preservation Division. He's the one who will give us clearance on the site, basically. That's what we're waiting for right now on Monument Road.
I assume you're here for that.
I sure am. We've been going back and forth about this. That is not what you told me at the last meeting. The conversation we had here, you said someone was going out from the state on last Wednesday to do a site visit, and they were going to give their okay on it, and once they gave their okay on it, we were good to go. You're going to hand them an estimate on it.
They haven't given their.
We haven't had the okay yet.
Well, that's not what you explained to me. They were going to look at the site and approve it then and there, not wait for some study and 2 more weeks down the road. And furthermore, when I go back and read the RFP, it states right here that the town administrator is responsible for contacting FEMA to take care of whatever they have to do with this project. It did not fall on me. So you're holding my money against me for something I didn't do. You guys screwed this up, you wait on your money. I shouldn't have to wait on my money.
Can you stick around for executive?
I'd rather not. I'd actually like to have it on camera.
We can't respond on camera fairly. It's contracts.
I'd rather have it on camera. After my visit with Miss Johnson over here on Tuesday was totally rude to me when I walked in the office. It was totally unacceptable. And all I was looking for was information. That's all I wanted. And I was not happy. And I explained that to Kyle when I called him yesterday.
He did relay.
I don't need to be treated like that.
He did relay me the information that passed
Yeah,
along.
and I'm not impressed.
I'm not sure what to tell you there.
Well, and the bill is 30 days old as of today now. So interest is gonna accrue tomorrow. And it's just, like I'm stating, yeah, I can give you the paperwork in the RFP. Why is this my responsibility? This states in the RFP, I am not responsible to contact FEMA. I did everything I was supposed to do on this job. So you're holding me liable, my money liable, because you guys didn't do your
You're repeating
job.
yourself now. Stick around
That's
for
fine.
executive. I'll be glad to talk to you about the specifics, so we have highlighted there. I did see that. I did contact the town lawyer about this. It's not something we should talk about on camera, especially if both parties are at fault.
Why am I at fault when it states it right here in the RFP?
Different interpretation of the RFP.
Oh, okay. So we're going executive session and just go around in circles.
Now, I can explain to you more in depth what you're highlighting and what the town lawyer said.
And you wonder why people don't want to do business with Highgate.
It's really not necessary, man. This really isn't necessary right now. I know you're upset.
I know, I'm pissed.
I understand that, but what you're doing right now really isn't necessary.
Let's
You're way better than that. I know you for a long time, so let's just
No, I
stop
just hired
here.
you.
Let's just stop here and let's go to executive and we'll discuss it, please. Thank you.
Let's do it then.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, other business, anything else? Anything else for the board?
I do have one thing.
Yes, sir.
Where are we at with wastewater? Because that is kind of one thing that hinges on the project we want to do with Brett, on where we can go in our timelines. So I would like some type of something on that. Is there any kind of timeline? Is there anything that you can say right now?
Like, you're not talking the airport project, you're talking
No.
the village core wastewater.
Village core.
Okay, actually, I haven't got an update on that in a while.
So I can provide a quick one. So I was working with Greta from Regional Planning and Robert Clark from Otter Creek Engineering. And he was, and the previous town administrator or two were working on trying to get an engineering service agreement approved, an ESA. And today that got approved. So that doesn't sound as exciting as it was, but it took a year and a half to get that approved. So now they will start getting paid. Today we had another follow-up with Cathedral Square, but we are making some progress on that. There was just some confusion with the contract, so the progress was challenging for a while. And now we're working with Greta and Robert Clark to get clarification from the state to approve the schedule as we have it, because we're supposed to be going out to bid next year with construction being by the end of 2026, right? So the money has to be spent and obligated by then. So it's still loosely on track, it just, that contract took a long time to get approved. The state had some confusion, they apologized to Greta and I. It wasn't, I'm not trying to cast aspersions on anyone involved here, but it took a while to get that approved. But I have written confirmation that it was approved today.
And the second would be water supply to Cathedral Square. Is it still the intention of using the well out behind the arena?
I haven't heard anything.
They are talking about that too in the meeting we had this morning. Robert Clark is working with Greta and two people from the state who work on that, because it has to be classified as a public drinking source because it does. The engineer said it does. It's not right now. He said because it's going to serve more than 25 people regularly, that has to be done, but that takes a little bit of time. It's a pretty complicated process, and they have to analyze your current well, which is not a problem. Robert has got confirmation that it's a really good performing well. It can serve Cathedral Square, but they need to make it officially a public water. There's a name for it.
Designation.
Yeah,
It's almost like municipalities.
it's something else, but it's a public water source. So that we have a meeting scheduled, or we're going to in the next week.
Just the way for the state to make some more money.
So that's the first progress I've heard in about a month, though, that the engineer was on the call, people from the state are willing, they've already said they responded to us within one day, which is a record, that they would they'd work with us.
So is that going to be metered? Are they going to be charged for that?
Who?
Cathedral Square.
I'm sure it will be metered, but we're not there yet. I mean, they're still talking about outflows and capacity and what, so we're not there yet.
So Brian, you the only, is Arena the only ones on that well? right now?
Correct. We used to be on McEwen's well, and we keep, and
You put your own in?
we got the old, during the last project, Chevalier's donated the new well, so we are the only ones on that well.
And it gets plenty of water there?
Yeah, I'm just saying if something happens, I guess where I'm coming at is who's it on? Is it on us? Is it on Cathedral Square, or are they getting metered and they're a client?
I hope they get read.
So they're a customer of ours, and if something happens, we're
Right.
responsible.
Right.
Something else for you to think about, you're gonna have to hire someone that.
You have to have
Yeah.
fire operator.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, for the other one, we're gonna have to have someone for the other project to get one in.
Exactly.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
Sorry, you got that look on your face.
No,
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's just natural.
All right, anybody else?
Is this, like, where are, like, with that question that you just had about the wastewater, I'm assuming that Carrie is doing a lot of work on that project. I mean, we just spent a lot of time talking about communication and transparency. Is the select board getting regular updates on that? If village core, I'm hearing some stuff up here and I'm hearing other chirps behind me during this whole meeting, not pointing right now, Shannon. Behind me, I heard the village core is gonna be done. I don't know whether that's true or not, it doesn't really matter, but where are these
We're still in
updates?
negotiations of what we're doing with the boards and
But
the different,
in that interim, where are these updates?
that's why we did the library steering committee to get that moving.
But with, like, all this wastewater, freshwater, Cathedral Square, in the interim, I think that those should be regular items on the select board agenda so that that is public information.
I think it says before, a lot of things moves at the speed of government. So we get the updates when things happen. She just got the update today on the wastewater. So it's first we've heard about it today.
I guess I'm saying, but
Yeah.
that wouldn't have, it seems like that wouldn't have come up in this meeting if Ryan wouldn't have
It
specifically
wouldn't have, because
asked.
there was no breaking news to report.
Well, it wouldn't have come up tonight, but it should have come up at our next regular meeting. So, I mean, we can try to put it on once a month and just have it as a static item, and if there's no news, there's no news.
Yeah.
But, I mean, part of the challenge here is there was no roadmap for me to follow, so it's taking a lot longer to even figure out what acronym applies to what grant and what funding source. So I didn't have anything of value to report for a good month on that kind of stuff. But Greta has been making sure we in general, this town owes a lot to regional planning. They're keeping it going along with the other two large grant projects.
Yeah, I think that would be a good thing if it was once a month, you know, pick a meeting.
Communication.
Yeah, if it's the first meeting of the month, that you throw that on there. If there's no update, then you cruise right through it.
Good.
Yep. All right, with that, make a motion to exit out of select board meeting, go to executive with select board, Carrie, and Bill Metz. Unless anybody else need the executive?